Commuter Tuesday. It's the 30th of April. Yes, it's the last day of April already. Hope you're having a cracking one so far. Good morning all throughout the region. Did you watch the leaders' debate last night? Well, I'm a bit of a political tragic, so I was ready at the telly at 5 p.m. I did enjoy it. I don't know about you, but it didn't look like two people on a quiz show vying to be the ultimate winner. It was a bit funny how the way that they conducted it. But I want to know, did you watch it and what did you think? You can give us a text 0448 922 604 or Poppy's ready in the producer's booth for your telephone call because we want to know what you think. 1300 525 222 if you want to give us a call. Now coming up on the show today, well, it is the A to Z of Australia. For this time I'm going to go backwards and doing the letter C, which we did miss. And have you got your running shoes ready? Because Mother's Day, it's on its way, and the Goldfields raise a lot of money for cancer research with the Mother's Day Classic. I'll have all the details for you. Then after 7, well, it was the big news at the end of last week. The Federal Environment Minister has her say on why she approved the Illyri uranium mine north of Kalgoorlie one day before the election was called. And finally, have you ever wanted to know what the dark web is all about? Must say I didn't know much about it until I did this interview. I'll be chatting with a cyber expert and talking about how dangerous the dark web is. And yesterday there was the news of the death of Australian poet Les Murray. He was a most respected poet over 30 years, and I hope to play one of his works on the show later after 7. But in commodities overnight, well, the gold price since yesterday had a bit of a drop, 1,814 Aussie dollars an ounce, and my quest to get nickel back up to $6 again, well, it's not doing too well at the moment. The nickel price is $5.59 US a pound. Kalgoorlie Boulder today, well, it's going to get up to 19 degrees. It's getting a bit cold again. Sunny conditions though, but those winds will be coming from the southwest, 20 to 25 kilometres an hour. Later in the day and evening is going to get a little bit lighter. Chilly one overnight for the first day of May, 9 degrees, and only getting up to 15 degrees tomorrow, so get your warm coats out. It will be a cloudy day. But the sun will return on Thursday with a top of 16, is a minimum of 5 degrees, that's a bit chilly, and Friday 22 degrees, but a sunny day expected. Now, law enforcement services around the world announced recently an operation against dozens of people who sold and bought illicit goods on the dark web. The sting led to the arrest of 61 people who are believed to have plied their trade using 50 dark web accounts. The police also seized nearly 300 kilos of drugs, 51 firearms, and $14 million in virtual currency and cash. But what is the dark web? Where is it? And should you be worried? Simon Smith is a cyber forensics investigator and expert witness from E-Investigator. So good morning, Simon. Welcome to ABC Goldfields. Now, we've got you on the show to talk about the dark web. So firstly, what is the dark web?
Good morning. Firstly, Ivo, thanks for having me. It's an absolute pleasure to be on your show. It's a very good question. The dark web, it's a very small portion of the internet that has actually been around since the mid-90s when the US military researchers, they created a technology that allowed intelligence operatives to exchange information completely anonymously. They called it Tor. And that actually stands for the onion router. And similar to file sharing networks, makes it really untraceable and encrypted. So you might be going through 4 or 5 different people's computers without them knowing, but they're obviously part of the system. So the military released this new system of, I guess, using the internet, which is anonymous, which you need special software for, into the public domain for all to encourage open communication and intelligence, I guess, without fear or favour. Think of it as smaller versions of the internet called little dark nets that you need special software for. It needs to travel through multiple users to hit its destination and come back again. It leaves no trace, not easily anyway. It's got drawbacks due to this, so it's very slow because it's jumping through multiple computers, and that's why it's not used every day because it'll probably drive us nuts. It certainly has attracted criminal activity. It makes illegal transactions very easy.
How does it differ, say, from the World Wide Web?
Yeah, well, definitely a good question. It differs from the World Wide Web in that the internet, as we know it, hosts public websites. So we know when we know what we want to do when we go on the internet. We want to go to google.com, for instance. It's much larger, faster, open to everyone without the need for routing software. So we just use a normal browser. It might be used for internet shopping or just browsing or whatever. So normally a website is hosted at a fixed address like google.com. So when we type this into our browser serves as what's called a global DNS, a domain name server, which leads us to a fixed IP address, which is essentially its place in the world. It's public, and every business or every internet user has one. It's much different because there's no skipping around. It's literally a spot on the earth where a router is sitting saying, I'm on the internet. Best to explain it's what everyone can access.
Yeah. Now, you did touch on before just the deep web. What's the difference between the dark web and the deep web?
Well, I did mention that, and I mentioned Google. You may then want to go deeper and just say, and there's nothing wrong with the deep web. Sometimes it's mistaken as the dark web. You may want to go deeper and into Google and log into Gmail, for instance. You definitely don't want people to be able to go into Google and type in, what is Ivo's fourth male?
Yeah.
So that's what you call something that you can log into. So the deep web is all the parts of the internet that is hosted publicly, so you can still get into it, but only you can. Technically.
Yeah. Now, I'm speaking with Simon Smith. He is a cyber forensic investigator and expert witness from eVestigator. We're talking about the dark web. I know a lot of people have been wanting to know what it's all about because it has been in the news recently. Now, what are the illegal activities found on the dark web?
Due to the peer-to-peer anonymity that it gives you, the illegal activities on the various marketplaces, they're endless. Sadly, you can, it's like a community project. You can find people that are hosting up anonymous pages that you can buy credit cards, Uber accounts, email accounts, PayPal accounts. You can buy identities, birth certificates, passports, drugs, guns, Medicare cards, PayPal accounts. I guess whatever you can buy that you probably shouldn't be looking for. Technically not illegal to look for it. Believe me, I guess I've done a few cases where certainly border control is very active when it finds something to trace it back to find out who ordered it.
I was going to say, what are organisations trying to do to curb the rise of the dark web?
Well, law enforcement do have some ability by their intelligence. And there's some case law surrounding some interesting cases where they've caught people. Can technically sort of narrow it down in some situations, but it's just so large now, it's almost impossible to sort of flood the network and look for exceptions and say use probability. It'd be fair to say that there are many fake law enforcement marketplaces out there now. So they're called sort of honeypots. So I'd say the FBI would host a few fake sort of marketplaces.
Sort of like entrapment in a way.
Exactly, yeah. And they do know what they're doing, and the AFP, they know what they're doing in that respect. And they're most likely there just to gain the criminal details and to link up and try and find some sort of correlation. But, there's stuff that we can do about it, I suppose, to protect ourselves and our children.
I was going to say, how can people, if they're worried about it, stay away from the dark web or make sure family members are not using it? Yeah,
well, people certainly can stay away from the dark web by they can detect what a Tor exit node is, and what that means is we know that somebody has visited an IP address that is what's called a Tor exit node. So all these servers exist around the whole world. They serve pages that only the Onion Router browser can actually read. But we can also publicly, on our servers or on our routers or on our computers, read a completely updated, refreshed list of all the IP addresses that are on the network and put an exclusion list onto our routers or our network, so you can block them. There are other avenues as well, like I'd like to warn about. Like there's some people have built like proxies to Tor. Like you can go onto websites that you just sort of type in something and it actually uses a backdoor into Tor. So you can block those websites through a proxy server or something, like tell your web administrator, or block the website through your internet settings and that. But yeah, there's certainly ways of doing it, but it is an ever-changing world. There are more users getting on Tor. You probably want to ask why. What benefit is it for them? There's, I guess, so many people in the world want free speech, and they just have a server sitting there. They figure, why not?
Definitely. Well, Simon Smith, thank you very much for joining the show and in giving us a bit of information in regards to the dark web, so we know what it's about. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. You too. It's been a pleasure.
There we have Simon Smith, who's a cyber forensics investigator and expert witness from eVestigator, talking about the dark web.